The Museum Murder Case, a crime thriller novel by John Anthony. Chapter 1, The Art Heist. The rain poured relentlessly, drumming against the windows of the museum as Detective Alex Turner arrived at the crime scene. He stepped out of his car and pulled up the collar of his trench coat, trying to shield himself from the downpour as he approached the grand entrance of the museum. His mind buzzed with anticipation and questions. Inside, the museum was dimly lit, casting long shadows across the marble floors. The air carried a sense of unease, as if the very walls held the secrets of the crime that had taken place. Alex scanned the room, his eyes trained on the empty display case that once held the renowned Eternal Brilliance diamond necklace. Detective Sarah Patterson, Alex's trusted partner, was already at the scene. Her red hair gleamed under the museum lights as she examined the area around the case. Alex approached her, his footsteps echoing through the empty halls. "Sarah, any leads so far?" Alex asked, his voice a low murmur. Sarah turned to face him, her brow furrowed. "Not much, Alex. It's as if the necklace vanished into thin air. The security system was bypassed without a trace. We're dealing with professionals." Alex nodded, his eyes darting around the room. "Any witnesses?" Sarah shook her head. "None so far. We're still waiting for the museum staff to arrive. They've been called in for questioning, but judging by the lack of alarms or signs of a struggle, it seems the thief knew exactly what they were doing." Just then, the museum curator, Mr. Thomas Anderson, approached the detectives with a worried expression on his face. His hands trembled slightly as he spoke. "Detectives, I can't believe this has happened under my watch. The Eternal Brilliance was the centerpiece of our collection. How could someone get past our state-of-the-art security system?" Mr. Anderson said, frustration evident in his voice. "We're working on that, Mr. Anderson," Alex reassured him. "We'll do everything we can to recover the necklace and bring the culprits to justice. Can you think of anyone who might have had access or motive to steal the Eternal Brilliance?" Mr. Anderson hesitated, then sighed. "It's difficult to say. The museum has many wealthy patrons and collectors who would kill to get their hands on such a valuable piece. But we've always had tight security measures in place." Alex's eyes narrowed. "Has there been any unusual activity or suspicious individuals visiting the museum recently?" Mr. Anderson thought for a moment. "Now that you mention it, there was one man who seemed particularly interested in the Eternal Brilliance. He visited a few days ago, asking detailed questions about the security system. I found it odd at the time, but I didn't think much of it." Alex's curiosity was piqued. "Do you have a name or any description of this man?" Mr. Anderson scratched his chin, trying to recall. "I believe his name was Robert Kingsley. He was in his late 40s, well-dressed, with a distinct scar on his left cheek." Alex exchanged a glance with Sarah. "Thank you, Mr. Anderson. We'll look into this lead. In the meantime, please gather a list of all employees and contractors who had access to the necklace." As Mr. Anderson hurried off, Alex turned to Sarah. "Let's pay a visit to this Robert Kingsley. If he had been casing the museum, there's a chance he might have some answers." Sarah nodded, her eyes gleaming with determination. "Let's go, Alex. Time is of the essence." As they walked out of the museum, the rain continued to pour, masking the footsteps of the detectives as they embarked on a journey to unravel the mystery of the stolen Eternal Brilliance necklace and the enigmatic figure known as Robert Kingsley. Little did they know that this art heist was just the beginning of a much larger and more dangerous game, one that would push them to their limits and test the boundaries of their detective skills. To be continued. Dear readers, thank you for joining Detective Alex Turner in the gripping world of the museum murder case. I would love to hear your thoughts. Did the twists and turns keep you hooked? Did you connect with the characters? Share your feedback.